Eu vou esperar por você no café.
I will wait for you at the cafe. I will wait for you at the cafe.
Ela esperou pacientemente pela sua vez de falar.
She waited patiently for her turn to speak. She waited patiently for her turn to speak.
Temos que esperar até o trem chegar.
We have to wait until the train arrives. We have to wait until the train arrives.
Ele esperou do lado de fora do prédio pelo amigo.
He waited outside the building for his friend. He waited outside the building for his friend.
Eles estão esperando o ônibus chegar.
They are waiting for the bus to come. They are waiting for the bus to come.
Mal posso esperar para ver você de novo.
I can't wait to see you again. I can't wait to see you again.
Esperamos na fila por horas para comprar ingressos.
We waited in line for hours to buy tickets. We waited in line for hours to buy tickets.
Ele está esperando o início da consulta.
He is waiting for his appointment to start. He is waiting for his appointment to start.
Ela esperou ansiosamente pelos resultados dos testes.
She waited anxiously for the test results. She waited anxiously for the test results.
Eu vou esperar aqui enquanto você entra.
I will wait here while you go inside. I will wait here while you go inside.
As crianças estão esperando ansiosamente pelos presentes.
The children are waiting eagerly for their gifts. The children are waiting eagerly for their gifts.
Eu tive que esperar a chuva parar antes de sair.
I had to wait for the rain to stop before leaving. I had to wait for the rain to stop before leaving.
Você deve esperar até que sua comida esteja pronta antes de comer.
You should wait until your food is ready before eating. You should wait until your food is ready before eating.
Eles esperaram o sinal antes de atravessar a rua.
They waited for the signal before crossing the street. They waited for the signal before crossing the street.
Ela está esperando uma resposta da empresa.
She has been waiting for a response from the company. She has been waiting for a response from the company.
Mal posso esperar para ver o que acontece a seguir.
I can't wait to see what happens next. I can't wait to see what happens next.
Ele esperou que ela terminasse de falar antes de responder.
He waited for her to finish speaking before responding. He waited for her to finish speaking before responding.
Os alunos esperaram em silêncio pela chegada do professor.
The students waited quietly for the teacher to arrive. The students waited quietly for the teacher to arrive.
Eles esperaram no saguão para que seu voo fosse anunciado.
They waited in the lobby for their flight to be announced. They waited in the lobby for their flight to be announced.
Eu esperei o ônibus, mas ele nunca apareceu.
I waited for the bus, but it never showed up. I waited for the bus, but it never showed up.
Esperamos até escurecer para começar o filme.
We waited until it was dark to start the movie. We waited until it was dark to start the movie.
Ele esperou para abrir seu presente até que todos estivessem prontos.
He waited to open his gift until everyone was ready. He waited to open his gift until everyone was ready.
Ela estava esperando seus pais buscá-la.
She was waiting for her parents to pick her up. She was waiting for her parents to pick her up.
Eles esperaram ansiosamente pelo show começar.
They waited in anticipation for the concert to begin. They waited in anticipation for the concert to begin.
Eu esperei na porta pela entrega chegar.
I waited at the door for the delivery to arrive. I waited at the door for the delivery to arrive.
Tivemos que esperar o tempo melhorar antes de caminhar.
We had to wait for the weather to improve before hiking. We had to wait for the weather to improve before hiking.
Ele está esperando o momento certo para convidá-la para sair.
He is waiting for the right moment to ask her out. He is waiting for the right moment to ask her out.
Vou esperar você terminar seu trabalho.
I will wait for you to finish your work. I will wait for you to finish your work.
Ela esperou a tempestade passar antes de sair.
She waited for the storm to pass before going outside. She waited for the storm to pass before going outside.
Eles esperaram no restaurante para que sua mesa estivesse pronta.
They waited at the restaurant for their table to be ready. They waited at the restaurant for their table to be ready.
Esperei o elevador, mas demorou muito.
I waited for the elevator, but it took too long. I waited for the elevator, but it took too long.
Tivemos que esperar o médico nos chamar.
We had to wait for the doctor to call us in. We had to wait for the doctor to call us in.
Ele está esperando as notícias sobre a oferta de emprego.
He is waiting for the news about the job offer. He is waiting for the news about the job offer.
Ela esperou o ônibus, mesmo chovendo.
She waited for the bus even though it was raining. She waited for the bus even though it was raining.
Esperei o anúncio antes de tomar uma decisão.
I waited for the announcement before making a decision. I waited for the announcement before making a decision.
Eles esperaram horas para conhecer o famoso ator.
They waited for hours to meet the famous actor. They waited for hours to meet the famous actor.
Esperamos do lado de fora do teatro para o show começar.
We waited outside the theater for the show to start. We waited outside the theater for the show to start.
Esperei o sinal mudar antes de atravessar a rua.
I waited for the signal to change before crossing the street. I waited for the signal to change before crossing the street.
Ela esperou a amiga chegar antes de começar a reunião.
She waited for her friend to arrive before starting the meeting. She waited for her friend to arrive before starting the meeting.
Ele está esperando a chuva parar antes de sair para uma caminhada.
He is waiting for the rain to stop before going for a walk. He is waiting for the rain to stop before going for a walk.
Eles esperaram ansiosamente pelo início da nova temporada.
They waited eagerly for the start of the new season. They waited eagerly for the start of the new season.
Estou esperando meu pacote ser entregue hoje.
I am waiting for my package to be delivered today. I am waiting for my package to be delivered today.
Esperamos na fila pelos nossos ingressos.
We waited in the queue for our tickets. We waited in the queue for our tickets.
Ela esperou sua vez de fazer uma pergunta.
She waited for her turn to ask a question. She waited for her turn to ask a question.
Ele teve que esperar muito tempo no aeroporto.
He had to wait for a long time at the airport. He had to wait for a long time at the airport.
Esperei uma resposta deles, mas não obtive resposta.
I waited to hear back from them, but no response came. I waited to hear back from them, but no response came.
Eles esperaram os fogos de artifício começarem na véspera de Ano Novo.
They waited for the fireworks to begin on New Year's Eve. They waited for the fireworks to begin on New Year's Eve.
Ela esperou a correspondência chegar antes de sair.
She waited for the mail to arrive before going out. She waited for the mail to arrive before going out.
Ele esperou ao lado do telefone o dia todo pela ligação.
He waited by the phone all day for the call. He waited by the phone all day for the call.
Mal posso esperar para viajar para novos lugares no ano que vem.
I can't wait to travel to new places next year. I can't wait to travel to new places next year.
Esperamos a próxima rodada de entrevistas começar.
We waited for the next round of interviews to begin. We waited for the next round of interviews to begin.
Ela esperou a chuva parar para poder ir embora.
She waited for the rain to stop so she could leave. She waited for the rain to stop so she could leave.
Eles esperaram em silêncio pelo início da cerimônia.
They waited in silence for the ceremony to start. They waited in silence for the ceremony to start.
Esperei o momento certo para contar a verdade a ela.
I waited for the right time to tell her the truth. I waited for the right time to tell her the truth.
Ele está esperando os amigos chegarem à festa.
He is waiting for his friends to arrive at the party. He is waiting for his friends to arrive at the party.
Esperamos a neve baixar antes de dirigir.
We waited for the snow to settle before driving. We waited for the snow to settle before driving.
Ela esperou pacientemente enquanto sua equipe trabalhava no projeto.
She waited patiently as her team worked on the project. She waited patiently as her team worked on the project.
Tive que esperar o trânsito melhorar antes de poder ir embora.
I had to wait for the traffic to clear before I could leave. I had to wait for the traffic to clear before I could leave.
Ele esperou o anúncio do vencedor.
He waited for the announcement of the winner. He waited for the announcement of the winner.
Esperamos até o último minuto para comprar as passagens.
We waited until the last minute to buy tickets. We waited until the last minute to buy tickets.
Ela esperou na estação o trem partir.
She waited at the station for her train to depart. She waited at the station for her train to depart.
Esperei a chuva parar para poder sair.
I waited for the rain to let up so I could walk outside. I waited for the rain to let up so I could walk outside.
Eles esperaram no carro até os pais terminarem as compras.
They waited in the car until their parents finished shopping. They waited in the car until their parents finished shopping.
Esperei na fila por tempo antes de pegar meu café.
I waited in line for a while before getting my coffee. I waited in line for a while before getting my coffee.
Ele está esperando sinal de que é hora de agir.
He is waiting for a sign that it's time to act. He is waiting for a sign that it's time to act.
Esperamos o sinal ficar verde antes de seguir em frente.
We waited for the light to turn green before moving. We waited for the light to turn green before moving.
Ela esperou a oportunidade certa para falar o que pensa.
She waited for the right opportunity to speak her mind. She waited for the right opportunity to speak her mind.
Tive que esperar meus amigos terminarem suas refeições.
I had to wait for my friends to finish their meals. I had to wait for my friends to finish their meals.
Eles esperaram o garçom trazer seus pedidos.
They waited for the server to bring their order. They waited for the server to bring their order.
Ele está esperando sua bagagem na esteira de bagagens.
He is waiting for his luggage at the baggage claim. He is waiting for his luggage at the baggage claim.
Vou esperar sua ligação esta tarde.
I will wait for your call this afternoon. I will wait for your call this afternoon.
Ela esperou até que todos terminassem seus discursos.
She waited until everyone had finished their speech. She waited until everyone had finished their speech.
Esperamos o médico explicar os resultados dos testes.
We waited for the doctor to explain the test results. We waited for the doctor to explain the test results.
Tive que esperar o computador atualizar.
I had to wait for the computer to update. I had to wait for the computer to update.
Eles esperaram no jardim para a cerimônia de casamento começar.
They waited in the garden for the wedding ceremony to begin. They waited in the garden for the wedding ceremony to begin.
Ele esperou do lado de fora do teatro para seus amigos chegarem.
He waited outside the theater for his friends to arrive. He waited outside the theater for his friends to arrive.
Ela esperou as crianças terminarem o dever de casa antes do jantar.
She waited for the kids to finish their homework before dinner. She waited for the kids to finish their homework before dinner.
Esperamos as luzes se apagarem antes de sair furtivamente.
We waited for the lights to go off before sneaking out. We waited for the lights to go off before sneaking out.
Esperei a confirmação do compromisso pela recepcionista.
I waited for the appointment to be confirmed by the receptionist. I waited for the appointment to be confirmed by the receptionist.
Eles esperaram a chuva parar para poderem continuar a caminhada.
They waited for the rain to stop so they could continue the hike. They waited for the rain to stop so they could continue the hike.
Ele esperou na entrada do prédio pelo colega.
He waited at the entrance of the building for his colleague. He waited at the entrance of the building for his colleague.
Esperamos o momento certo para começar a comemoração.
We waited for the right moment to start the celebration. We waited for the right moment to start the celebration.
Ela esperou que ele falasse primeiro na reunião.
She waited for him to speak first in the meeting. She waited for him to speak first in the meeting.
Aguardarei o convite antes de fazer planos.
I will wait for the invitation before making plans. I will wait for the invitation before making plans.
Eles esperaram o restaurante abrir ao meio-dia.
They waited for the restaurant to open at noon. They waited for the restaurant to open at noon.
Ele esperou o computador reiniciar após a atualização.
He waited for his computer to restart after the update. He waited for his computer to restart after the update.
Esperei na fila da loja para pagar minhas compras.
I waited in line at the store to pay for my groceries. I waited in line at the store to pay for my groceries.
Ela esperou o ônibus buscá-la na escola.
She waited for the bus to pick her up from school. She waited for the bus to pick her up from school.
Eles esperaram o show começar, ansiosos para ouvir a banda tocar.
They waited for the concert to start, eager to hear the band play. They waited for the concert to start, eager to hear the band play.
Ele esperou sua vez de fazer uma apresentação.
He waited for his turn to give a presentation. He waited for his turn to give a presentation.
Esperamos no parque as crianças terminarem de brincar.
We waited at the park for the children to finish playing. We waited at the park for the children to finish playing.
Esperei a última pessoa sair antes de trancar a porta.
I waited for the last person to leave before locking the door. I waited for the last person to leave before locking the door.
Ela esperou uma resposta ao e-mail antes de dar continuidade.
She waited for a response to her email before following up. She waited for a response to her email before following up.
Esperamos os resultados da competição serem publicados.
We waited for the results of the competition to be posted. We waited for the results of the competition to be posted.
Ele esperou na cafeteria a chegada do amigo.
He waited at the coffee shop for his friend to arrive. He waited at the coffee shop for his friend to arrive.
Esperei o fogo apagar antes de voltar para a cabana.
I waited for the fire to go out before returning to the cabin. I waited for the fire to go out before returning to the cabin.
Ela esperou as nuvens se dissiparem antes de sair para uma caminhada.
She waited for the clouds to clear before going for a hike. She waited for the clouds to clear before going for a hike.
Eu esperarei até que você esteja pronto para ir embora.
I will wait until you're ready to leave. I will wait until you're ready to leave.
Eles esperaram o anúncio dos vencedores na cerimônia de premiação.
They waited for the announcement of the winners at the awards ceremony. They waited for the announcement of the winners at the awards ceremony.
Ele esperou o ônibus no frio, desejando ter vestido um casaco.
He waited for the bus in the cold, wishing he had worn a coat. He waited for the bus in the cold, wishing he had worn a coat.
If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and stay tuned for the upcoming episodes to keep improving your English. And remember, listening, practice, and improve.